I think that this is a hard question. A lot of people get it wrong. I don't blame them for getting it wrong. This is not like a careless mistake situation. It's very hard. Um, and the vocab doesn't help here. So let's try our best to sort through it. I will say that our best strategy here to just kind of keep us grounded is we really want to narrow our focus as much as possible. Our job is not to understand everything that's going on in these experiments and in this passage. Like, we really just need to stick to the task at hand. That way we're not cluttering our brain with unnecessary stuff. So how do we do that? Well, the question in 16 gives us a clear goal, a clear task, right? We need to understand the assumption made by gift givers in these lines. And one thing, too, to point out here is that 16 and 17, I believe, in your test booklet are separated. So it's easy to kind of miss the fact that this is a pair. And so that's why you just always want to be mindful of the surrounding questions, make sure you understand what's coming, because you don't want to treat this like a line reference question when we've got these lines given to us in other places that we need to look at. So let's see. Let's see if we can get anything here. 41 to 44 is here. Okay, so let's start with that. So we're told here, let's maybe read a little extra. In the present research, we propose a unique psychological explanation for this overspending problem, i.e. that gift givers equate how much they spend with how much recipients will appreciate the gift. The more expensive the gift, the stronger a gift giver's feeling of appreciation. This right here is really helpful, right? Although a link between gift price and feelings of appreciation might seem intuitive to gift givers, such an assumption may be unfounded. So, unfounded means wrong. That it's not a good assumption. So that helps us. And I guess right now what I'm using is the +1 sentence rule, which I use whenever I'm given a line reference in the question, so that I get a little extra context. So to dumb summarize here, we're using a lot of strategies in this one question. A dumb summary of the assumption is, let's go back, the more expensive the gift, the stronger a gift recipient's feeling of appreciation. So more money means more appreciation. Notice, my dumb summary is not a sentence. It is a series of symbols. You can do that because your job here is not to write an essay about this like it would be an English class in school. You know, you're not trying to impress your English teacher. You're just trying to capture the most basic meaning of what's going on. So narrowing our focus a lot of times means dumbing things down so we're not wasting energy and time dealing with the complexities of what's going on. Okay? So we're trying to understand what's going on with this assumption, and the lines here say that it might be a bad assumption. I don't know. Let's keep going. Now we go to number 17, and we want to see which of these line references matches with kind of this assumption in some way. So 53 to 55. This is tough. Let's switch colors just to be clear. Okay. A. Perhaps gift givers believe that bigger, i.e. more expensive gifts convey stronger signals of thoughtfulness and consideration. So that seems to match with what I'm saying, right? Bigger, more expensive is more thoughtful, more considerate. So that's more expensive equals more thoughtful, right? That's very similar to what we wrote before. Let's just keep going, though. It seems possible. 55 to 60. Now, it is a speculation, perhaps, but let's keep going. To 60, right? I forgot what I need to write. Okay. According to Kammerer and others, gift-giving represents a symbolic ritual whereby gift-givers attempt to signal their positive attitudes towards the intended recipient and their willingness to invest resources in a future relationship. So, investing resources, so increased money means increased future? I don't know. I'm really confused here. That's okay. I'm not panicking because I know that the process will help me. One thing that's important too is notice in these cases I'm not reading extra beyond the lines because these lines are supposed to do the work. So these lines are supposed to give me the evidence themselves. I don't really want to read outside of these lines unless I need to really clarify like a pronoun or something. So I'm sticking to the lines. Okay. Let's keep going. This is Kammerer. I don't know. 63 to 65. Right, so this is Kammerer. 63 to 65. C. As for gift recipients, they may not construe smaller and larger gifts as representing smaller and larger signals of thoughtfulness and consideration. So this is saying that the recipients do not agree with this. So this is saying it's like recipients disagree. Let's just put disagree. Right? So far we've read that this is the connection. More money, better gift, better friend. But they're saying that that's not how recipients think of it. Let's look at D. I haven't eliminated any of these choices yet. That's okay though. We're gonna see 75 to 78 here, and our goal at this point is really just to get rid of anything that's totally irrelevant, and nothing so far is totally irrelevant. So that happens. It's okay. It's part of the process. In theoretical terms, people fail to utilize information about their own preferences and experiences in order to produce more efficient outcomes in their exchange relations. Again, I barely understand this. So, people fail to utilize information. Okay. I get that part. People uninformed. Uninformed. Pardon my handwriting. So, what matches here? So the passage indicates that the assumption made by gift givers in lines 41 to 44 may be insincere. Well, insincere means that someone's lying, right? Now, I don't remember reading anything about lying, right? When they said that the recipients disagree, there wasn't some accusation that the people who are giving the gift are somehow insincere in the gift. It's just that it's received in a different way than it's given, right? The way that we interpret the gift as a receiver is different from the way we interpret it as a giver. It's very confusing, but insincere is a strong word, right? So as for gift recipients, they may not construe smaller and larger gifts as representing smaller and larger signals of thoughtfulness and consideration. They're not saying that the receivers think the givers are liars or are manipulating them. It's not that negative. It's not that. This is the wrong kind of wrong, okay? The assumption is unreasonable. Well, no, it says that it might not be not be a correct assumption, but an unreasonable assumption. I don't know, that seems pretty reasonable. If I buy you a better gift, I'd expect you to think that I care more, right? That seems reasonable. And so, again, the passage is not saying this. It's not going this far and saying that the givers are crazy for thinking this. It's a logical thing to think. The passage seems to sort of support that it is something that's reasonable to think, but it just isn't necessarily true. And that sounds more like C now, incorrect, right? That we assume a better, more expensive gift is going to mean, I'm a better friend, but the receiver doesn't see it the same way, I guess is maybe the most vague way to put it. So it's an incorrect assumption. We assume it's one way, but it may not be that way to the receiver. It's just incorrect. Now look at D. D, this is a tough word. This means correct, basically. Substantiated means that it is true. And I think that is a tough choice here because I think A and B seemed to suggest that the original thing that we read was true. But let's go back to those lines quickly because substantiated means proven, right? Supported with evidence. But if we go to 53 to 55, choice A, perhaps givers believe that bigger, more expensive gifts convey stronger signals of thoughtfulness and consideration. There's no evidence that that is true. That is a guess as to why the assumption is made, but it is not supporting the assumption with evidence. So, substantiated, not working here, okay? Let's just really connect these choices here. Not working. B, according to Kammerer and others, gift giving represents a symbolic ritual whereby gift givers attempt to signal their positive attitudes towards the intended recipient and their willingness to invest resources in a future relationship. Well, according to Kammerer, who the heck is Kammerer? I don't know. He's just a guy or a girl. I actually don't even know. But it's not evidence. It's a guy's or girl's opinion. And so again, it's not substantiated with proof. It is a hypothesis about why givers think a certain way. So this is really tough. This is really tough. But the C's are the answers here. Because this is going to be hard to wrap your head around, but we talk about strong words a lot. And it doesn't seem that incorrect would be a weak word, but it is. Think of it this way. If you say someone is incorrect, there could be lots of different reasons why they are incorrect, right? It could be incorrect because they're lying and they're being insincere about what they're saying. They could be incorrect because they're crazy and what they're saying is just completely unreasonable. Or they could be incorrect because they just misheard someone else's facts. I don't know. Incorrect is weak because it doesn't specify why someone is wrong. A and B are specifying in ways that we don't have evidence of in these lines. All it says in line reference C is that they may not construe smaller and larger gifts as representing smaller and larger signals of thoughtfulness and consideration. They do not say why the original people were wrong. It was just that they made a bad assumption because the people they're giving the gifts to don't see the situation the same way that they do. But we don't have to go that far because the choices don't go that far. If you got this wrong, don't worry about it. It's not something to, really, you didn't make a careless mistake. You didn't fall for a trap here. This is a very difficult question that requires a lot of brain power. But our process gets us there eventually, and there won't be many of these on a test. So the processes that we normally use with, on the other questions are still going to work on those, and they will speed you up there so that when you get to this weird stuff, you have more time and more of a rigorous way to go through them. If you're getting this wrong, though, it's not a high priority. There's a lot of other stuff that you want to make sure you're getting right first before you worry about this kind of question. This is like a 750 level question. It means most people are going to get it wrong, and that's okay. It's a hard question.